Hello, hello. Today we'll be talking about routines, and not in the normal ass way where it's like, have good routines because you're going to be, this type of person and little things. I was reading something the other day and it hit me where it was like, if you don't set your routines, other shit's going to set it for you. And then that really hit me more than like, go to bed early, wake up early, do whatever the fuck. Like that doesn't really run any sirens or alarms. That one did, where I was like, yo, if I don't create my goals in my life and my routines, something's gonna create it for me. And that it legitimately like fucking freaked me out. And I was like, hold on now, what's going on? So I kind of call this one create or be created. And that's really the big idea, right? If you don't create your routines, which ultimately maybe shape your identity and your goals and what you want to do in life, society, your family, your friends, your obligations will shape that shit for you. And someone like myself, having worked a 9 to 5 job at times and being like, and then, okay, so you have a 9 to 5, you have to wake up at a certain time, you have to get there at a certain time. Like you have a routine based around the goals of that job. But then for some odd reason for me, whenever I had time off or I had free days, my routines totally went to shit. I didn't wake up early for myself. I didn't go do all these things. It's like I was treating my job or other obligations in a higher ranking than my own, what I wanted to do. And then I would feel frustrated, like, fuck, I don't have time to do all this dope shit that I want. And I don't know what to get upset about, but it's like, oh fuck, I got to get upset, like kind of with me, because I'm not setting clear guidelines and goals of like, what the fuck do I want out of life? What do I want to do right now? What am I trying to accomplish? Let me set some routines around that. I feel like the mind and your body and your everything, you want like easy shit. You want to feel like you know what the fuck is going on around you at all times. And the mind wants it. It wants routine. It wants habit. You get into habits, whether you like it or not. You have a habit every single day, things that you are probably unconscious of now because it's so ingrained from a young age. But that's what you seek. We seek comfort. But at times, we allow that to really spiral out of control, and you get almost too comfortable in routines set by other people. And then when you talk about routines and why they're important, it's like, well, fuck, like, if I'm doing all these things in habits and I'm doing these things over and over again, it's truly going to shape, who I am currently, but then in the future too. So that if I'm conducting these routines based on this old motherfucker from like years ago, then that's not who I want to be right now. And so I have to set these routines and habits and patterns up to become a different person. And I often don't think about that. I often don't think about a lot of those routines outside of my normal one of like, get up and this is mine. I get up, fucking drink some water, stretch a little bit. And all this shit takes like minutes because I'm like, I don't have an hour or 2 hours to like dick around. I'm fucking tired in the morning. So like I'll wake up, water, stretch a little bit, I'll immediately do a little bit of breathing, journal for like a half second, and then do a little bit of reading, like just something to get kind of my brain operating and working, or I'll listen to an audiobook or some type of podcast that definitely reflects a lot of the shit that I'm talking about right now. But more or less like something to get me up. You know what I mean? I might wake up and my mind's going a million different places. I got to go here, there, do this and that. Fuck that. I'm going to wake up a little bit early just to set my shit up. So then when I go to my other thing that I'm obligated to do, whether it's work or shit at the house or anything, I did my routine. So I got what I needed out of the day. Right. And to build, and the goal is to really build a routine that matches your dreams. I feel like I don't really often think about like, what are my dreams and how am I going to build my daily activities around them? And then the quote about other people making your routine for you, it hit me up and I was like, fuck, like I gotta dial that in. I gotta think about what I'm doing, who I want to become. And it really boils down to getting really clear on what you want to do, how you want to contribute to the world, and what that fucking even is. And just sitting, and that could be the first step, just sitting and thinking and talking about like, what is that? What do I want to contribute? What do I want to do? And what are those habits like? It's like the analogy of like, a writer just writes every morning because they're a fucking writer. A bodybuilder, they lift because that's who they are. They're a bodybuilder. And a lot of it is identifying with that, right? Like who I want to be, what I want to do. I'm going to start doing this podcast. Guess what the fuck I have to start doing? I have to start fucking talking into this thing, and I start reviewing and doing outlines and all that shit. You just become that person. I think in that process, you build habits a lot easier than you would like someone that's like, oh, I'm trying to lose weight or I'm trying to learn this and then like just be that, like be whatever that is and allow those routines to kind of follow along. But it's a lot more complicated than that, honestly. And the identity, how I think of it, identity shapes everything, right? It's really about, I heard this the other day. It's a Tony Robbins quote, but it was like, you have two things that shape your life, and it's meaning and emotion. And this is how it works. Like, because you assign something a meaning, because it means something to you, it's going to elicit an emotional response to you. And then you're going to change your decision based on what that emotion is, right? If I see something, I give it a meaning that's negative, emotionally, I feel caught up, I feel angry or sad. I'm going to make an angry, sad decision. And then boom, then you're in a feedback loop of all that shit over and over again. So thinking about identity, meaning, what am I giving meaning to my life? What am I giving meaning to the day? Or even the routine, the things that I want to do. Because again, if your identity doesn't match your goals, you feel weird. You feel stuck. I feel stuck whenever shit doesn't. And I always, when you don't feel aligned, essentially, and you start really just acting like the person you want to become by doing those little micro routines. Honestly, at this point in the game, I feel like it will do the fucking smallest, easiest micro maneuver in the right direction. Have so much grace that you're counting like something that would seem to be the smallest win, but don't even think about it in scale of small or medium or large. Just think of it as a fucking win. Something that you're like, damn, like that's something I did for this future self or for whoever I want to become. And so you won't need to find and harbor a lot of that motivation and inspiration. If you're just that motherfucker, you're just that person. When I'm a writer, I like to go right. I'm going to go right. I'm following suit with the habits of that person. And a lot of it does stem from, really identifying with a lot of that. So I think there's genuinely, this could be in a lot of different ways, but 4 pillars of a good life, right? It's mind, learning and growing. It's your body. It's staying fit and healthy, keeping your human vessel, good. Business, which is really money and purpose and your vocation and how you contribute to the world with your specific skill set and relationships, right? Family, friends, love, connection. I think those are mainly those 4 huge components of what a good life is. And after that, you could kind of really fill in everything in there, like what it's going to mean to have a strong mind and have a growth mindset. You'll know what you want to learn and how you want to grow. But honestly, it is really just defining a lot of that stuff, establishing what it is. How much money do I need? What is healthy for me? Like what are my relationships like with my family and my friends? Like what does that look like? And sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather, so I hope it doesn't bother y'all too much. But a good analogy is like, and why these 4 pillars matters. Like if one leg is wobbly, right, the whole chair tips over. So balance is key, right? Having equal amounts in a lot of these is so helpful. We can't put all of our eggs in one basket, which I think I do a lot of. Throw everything into this one category and it's good, and then the other 3 aren't balanced equally. So the action is to really find one small thing in each of those pillars that you can make an improvement on. And even just by doing one of those fucking things, you're set up in the right direction. Now you're balancing out the legs of that table, and you're moving in the place of like, okay, I'm enhancing these pillars. I'm moving in the right place. I'm creating these routines and habits of a life that I want. You know what I mean? Not saying the life that you have now is not the one you want, but we always want to be moving toward, a version of ourselves that's like, we're going to look back and be like, damn, like I'm glad the person now was doing all those things, like really identifying, having a lot of those future conversations with yourself. And a lot of it is, self-education is a superpower, right? Learning outside of school, reading, listening to whatever, watching videos, just honestly, like that education process, I feel like only ramped up for me as I got out of school. I was very narrow in school, right? As we all are. You only focus on what people tell you to do. And like, that's the crazy part. Like society will fucking talk about routines. School. What was all how many ever years of school you did, but a big routine set by somebody else to tell you what to learn. That's not wrong or right, but like already you have people, your whole life, people are setting rules, setting routines. When you wake up, when you do this, and of course early on, you're like, as a kid, okay, you need those routines, but then you break out of them and you wonder why you can't set your own routines, because your whole life, people have been setting routines for you. And so that's a big component. Like, think about, I get to teach myself. I get to, guide myself. I'm my own parent, my own educator, my own everything. Like, that's a lot of reverence in that. Like, take very, very special care of that growth and learning process. And it's skills pay the bills. You know what I mean? Like, the more skills you have, the more better you are in the market that's so ever changing, and it just feels good. I mean, I find it hard to believe that anybody, like, when you learn something, whether it be the most basic shit, and you like, wow, that's you on it. You honestly, for me at least, I feel so like engaged and uplifted, and like, wow, like I just fucking learned something. Like, that's fucking life. You know what I mean? Like, every time I ever feel stagnant or I feel shitty, it's because I feel like I'm not learning, growing. I'm going against what's going on. So yeah, that was one of the points, and I'm I'm subject to this a lot because I don't like planning too much, but because I heard this thing about routines and people setting routines for you, if you really don't have a plan, shit feels so chaotic. And it doesn't have to be a hard and fast plan like, yo, this is what we're doing in year 10, 20, 30. This is what we're doing this week, blah, blah, blah. You have a general outlook as to what you want your life to look like and the things you want and the things you're looking forward to, honestly. It doesn't matter if one comes before the other, but having some type of idea of what your future self is going to look like or what you're going to do, how you're going to feel, I think that's so important because a lot of my life, at least, and I feel like most people's, is you have a lot of information in the past. You have all the data that's in the past of who you were, what you did, even the day before, right? Everything is in the past. So you have that person to go off of, but that past is not predictive of the future. The past is just an indication of kind of how you got here now. But that doesn't, you know what I mean? That doesn't mean where you're going to go is along the same line. That route could go a different way. And it's so good to future plan because how I do it, you psychoanalyze the past all goddamn day, you're just going to end up in the same fucking place, over there. So future planning is just, dreaming about the future the same way we may look at the past and give some speculation and learn from the past, right? Learn from the future and how I believe it is planning. And I always like to do that shit on walks. I'll go for a walk, just walk it out, plan a little bit, think about what feels good. Just gets the body moving. I feel like it feels good. But big wrap ups and takeaways, honestly, from this is build a routine that fits your goals. Like fits exactly the shit that you get excited about, who you are, the type of person that you are, the shit that you like to do. It's easier to do. You won't need as much motivation. Align your identity with the person you want to become, right? You love yourself now. You're going to love yourself in the future. Really, like, what does that sick ass person do? What do they look like? What are they interested in? And really, even just asking those questions will give you some insight as to what to do right now and how to maybe supply some routine in the day to day. And then focus on the four pillars. If you always have something to really ground what anchors you back down. It's mind, body, business, relationship. Like really honing on growth and learning and always progressing in that regard. You have a ultra big, powerful supercomputer, and it definitely wants to just keep learning and growing. You have a body that's fucking so capable of so many things and so much wear and tear and super resilient. So definitely take care of that because it gets you point A to point B. Business, which I really align with more vocation and how you share your skills and contributions to the world around you because we're built in community. That's how shit works. And so that's I believe is a good expression of, who you are, what you do is business and how you contribute. And then relationships, right? Community, the people that mold you and shape you, connecting with them, the love that you share, that shit is, for me at least, I believe the most important of all of them. And making learning and growth part of your daily life. Make growth a routine. If you get anything from this, is make learning and growth a routine because it is it is something you'll always be thankful for. It'll never bite you in the ass. It'll never be like, fuck, like, why did I learn? You never be like, God damn it, why did I learn how to do this? Like, I feel like that doesn't come out people's mouths too often. Is because when you learn something, you learn something. You can apply it to something else. You can, take that to a different arena in your life. And this is my least favorite one, but one I think is important is set a plan, right? You risk kind of drifting aimlessly and going in the past, right? If I don't have a plan in the future, I don't get to talk to my future self as to what I want to do. I'm just going to keep doing the same shit I did in the past. And I'm just going to be that same person over and over again. And I think a lot of what we're here to do is to grow and progress and move beyond ourselves in a way that is just fucking tight and it feels cool. And you're like, you look back in like 5 years, like, God damn, like, what the fuck? Like, who is this person now? And it's only because you moved in a direction that felt natural to what you wanted, who you are, and the things you love to do. And your life can either be something you create or your life is either something that's created for you, right? So start with just one super small choice and focus on creating your life, because if you don't create it, shit will create it for you. And you want to be have a lot of reverence and security and safety around your life and your decisions, because they're sacred as fuck. Don't let other shit tell you who you and what you want to do. Although we've been programmed for that our whole lives, just go create the life that you want, because it'll always bring you the rewards and satisfaction and feeling of, and you'll grow a lot, honestly, from there too. So I hope you guys enjoy Create or Be Created.